Hello again, and welcome back, everybody, to the Pierce the Canvas podcast. It is Pierce again here with the post-Revolution Dynamite show. We came off a pretty crazy pay-per-view this last Sunday with, somewhat of an anticlimactic finish to say the least. A pretty controversial finish, but overall, Sunday night it was a pretty damn great show, and I think the show following here, this Dynamite, did a fantastic job at continuing the storylines from Sunday, as well as, kind of acknowledging what we all know happened with the explosion dud. And of course, we had the Inner Circle War Council, where everybody kind of suspects Jericho's going to get kicked out of the Inner Circle. So, yeah, we'll get right into it and talk about this show here, which opened up with one of the bigger matches on the card, I thought. Rey Fenix versus Matt Jackson. Both guys have their tag team partners in their corners. The match was fantastic. Rey, at the beginning of the match, was like completely outworking Matt Jackson with his athleticism, just like flying all over the ring, as always. At one point, Matt was able to reverse Rey Fenix top rope, like chop slash Hurricanrana spot. During the Hurricanrana, Matt was able to reverse it into a powerbomb. SCU was watching from the crowd, since they're going to be facing the winners of the Bucks versus Pac and Phoenix, so they'll be the ones after Pac and Phoenix to challenge for the world titles, which is a heavy, that entails a lot, because SCU said themselves that after their next loss, they're no longer going to be a tag team. Which actually, it's worth mentioning, like on Sunday during the Battle Royal, SCU got eliminated, and I was like, does that count? Yeah, but I guess not. Phoenix was able to get a spinning rope kick, followed by a springboard drop kick. Phoenix was able to hook Matt Jackson's arms and legs, and then somehow positioned him to plant him right down on his face. Phoenix attempts a tightrope kick, the tightrope penalty kick. Matt is able to dodge it, lands a destroyer. This causes Phoenix to fall ringside. Matt goes after him and lands the second destroyer right after. Phoenix beats the 10 count, trying to get back into the ring. Matt heads up top and lands an elbow drop for a near fall. Matt locks in a sharpshooter until Rey Fenix is able to grab the rope. Matt dodges a dropkick at one point. Dodges a dropkick from Phoenix, and Phoenix inadvertently hit Nick instead. Kind of knocked him out. Matt Jackson didn't save his breath. He just went right after Pac and super kicked him. So paid Phoenix back for knocking out his partner. Matt landed a super kick to Phoenix, lands another, and Rey comes back with an enziguri of his own, and both guys collapse. I love that spot Phoenix does when he gets super kicked, and then he kind of no-sells it, kips back up, and then does his own crazy move, and then they're both knocked out, so that spot happened. So the referee proceeded with the 10 count, and both guys are down. The referee counts to 10, or counts up to 10. But they're able to get back up and start strike exchanging. And at one point, they both went for a super kick at the same time and kicked each other's legs, which looked kind of painful. This enabled Rey to get Matt in position for his piledriver finisher, landed it for the win. So I guess the story here is that, the Young Bucks can't really win singles matches. So they gave Rey Fenix a win here. And again, at some point, I'm not sure when exactly, I'm not sure if they announced it, but we will see the Young Bucks take on Pac and Phoenix for the titles. Again, yeah, I'm not too sure when that's supposed to be. We see next, it's this is the first part of kind of acknowledging the explosion dud on Sunday. So we see Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston hanging out, like in a hotel room or in some apartment or something. There's like a fireplace set up on like a table, so they're in like a high-end place. And Eddie was doing a lot of talking at first, and Jon Moxley kind of looked like he was trying to like impersonate Orange Cassidy or some shit. He was just there like passed out, just not really giving a fuck at all. He has sunglasses on, you can't even tell if he's awake or not. So Eddie is just talking, says he never experienced the anxiety he felt seeing Moxley about to get blown up. He never felt that kind of anxiety since he was arrested and put in jail. Eddie asks Kenny, like, what do you think this is, some sort of video game? And he starts comparing Kenny to Joker and saying John is Batman. John finally woke up eventually and said something like Impact paid for the bomb. Asks if the bomb said Acme on it, from the Roadrunner or whatever days. Says he's made better bombs in high school. He went through a barbed wire death match, and all he got is a stupid T-shirt. And he shows off. He has the same shirt Kenny Omega was wearing during the match, the death match shirt. Says but he's happy he got his drinking buddy back. John guilts Eddie for not coming out sooner. Says like he came late. He's like, "What were you doing? Like doing your eyebrows and doing this and that." And Eddie's defending himself and says that. John actually says that he's glad his friend didn't end up getting hurt, but would have liked to see a bomb. And tells Kenny in the future, if you flash a weapon, you better use it. So I don't know, man. I guess this is probably not the end of the feud between Moxley and Omega, which is fine. It's as long as it's going to bring quality matches, I'm pretty much okay with it. However, we will get into it in a little bit. I think Kenny Omega might have a little somebody else to deal with first. So we get into the next match. It's Cody Rhodes in action, so he's just facing some enhancement talent. This guy's name is Seth Gargis. Not much to get into. During Cody's entrance, he went into the crowd and went over to a special fan and took off his belt and handed his belt to this fan and made his day. The guy was over the moon, so that was cool to see. So this guy's out of Alabama, this Seth Gargis guy. He was trained by Gangrel. He's a big dude. He's bigger than Cody, but Cody made quick work of him. Was no effort to lock in a figure four. This guy, Gargis, taps out. Shivani enters the ring. The first mic he was given wasn't even working. There are some audio issues on this show. We're going to get into that real soon here. Shivani enters the ring, and again, he was given a dead mic, so they made some fun out of that and finally got a good mic. Asks about Cody's shoulder, how he's feeling after the Shaq match, and unfortunately having lost the ladder match. Penta, El Zero Miedo, is quick to distract the interview, and he gets up from an announce table. I didn't know that there's a Spanish announce table in Dynamite, and I especially didn't know that Penta was one of the announcers. So you learn something every day. So he pops up from this announce desk, and he's dressed up too. He's in a suit and everything. So Alex, I don't remember his name, so I'm not even going to attempt. The Hispanic interviewer guy, he's in BT. Alex, his last name starts with an A. Abrahenta, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so he's translating for Penta. Says that he said that he is 1,000 times better than Cody. Said that if Cody's the Prince of Pro Wrestling, then Pentagon is the Lord of Lucha Libre. Penta starts speaking a bit of English. I didn't catch every single thing he said. He was mocking Cody. Said that he lost at Revolution. Says that he didn't go after his arm because if he did, he wouldn't have been able to pick up his new baby girl. And, this pisses off Cody, goes after him. They fight for 2 seconds until the roster quickly breaks them up. So cool, we're going to get Penta. It's kind of cool to finally be seeing him get some singles opportunities. I guess he's going to have a program with Cody, and I'm all for it. Bring it on. I'm really looking forward to see how that goes. So next up, we're in an arcade, and Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy are hanging around. Orange Cassidy's, John Moxley looked like he was trying to be like Orange Cassidy. We cut to Orange Cassidy now, and he's also sleeping. He's on one of those arcade games, the racing car arcade games, and he's just asleep. Anyway, so Chuck starts listing all the crazy stuff Miro and Kip did and made him do. I think he mentioned they injured Trent. They made Chuck be his butler. They shoved his head through a window this past Sunday. So Chuck challenges him to another match, and I guess there's going to be some weird stipulation on this match. I believe he said that the ring's going to be surrounded by arcade machines. And that's pretty much it. So we're going to get some weird, funky match with, I guess the same match, Miro and Kip versus Chuck and Orange Cassidy. All right, whatever. I don't really care. Unfortunately. I kind of thought that what we saw on Sunday of Miro was kind of just to get rid of all this stuff with Chuck and Orange Cassidy and to finally go on his own singles push, but seems like they're continuing with this, so, I kind of just want to see Miro go off as a single, do his own thing. He's he's already a super intimidating monster guy. He could hold his own. I don't know why he needs Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford, especially now. Like the wedding happened like a month ago. So next up, guess who Tony Schiavone is interviewing? Yeah, it's his best friend Sting, man. So Tony congratulates Sting on the awesome match. Sting puts over Darby Allin, says that he's a risk taker and that he's a dangerous guy. Says mix that with Sting in the streets and that makes a win. And so he gets distracted into his promo, and who comes out? It's Lance Archer. So says to stop wasting time. Says he didn't need a ladder match to prove he's the face of the Revolution. Lance apologizes for walking in on Sting's time. We'll show up again on our own time. So, and then they took their leave. Jake Roberts got a word in. I feel like every time he says something, it's always a shoot. Like, it's never planned that he's going to say something. He just, like, basically Lance was just talking, and Jake just shoves his head into the mic and said some shit. Nothing important. I don't even remember what he said. But, yeah, so there you go. I guess we're going to get the next Sting feud, which will be against Lance Archer, and that'll be great. The two guys are, like, similarly sized. Hopefully... I don't think Sting's going to be able to take the blackout, though. I don't know if I would be comfortable looking at that. But hey, I'm ready for this feud to start, so see how it goes. So next up, we see QT Marshall and Lee Johnson with Dasha. And Dasha's basically just asking, like, why QT left the Battle Royal, left Dustin on his own. And QT's playing good guy, says his emotions got the best of him. Says that he'll be out there for Lee's match against Ethan Page. And then this is where it began. Again, I feel like at least once a month or every 2 months there's some weird broadcasting glitch on Dynamite, and I never know if it's just me, but I'm pretty damn sure this was happening for everyone. Right before this interview was about to end, audio from, like, an NBA game went over top the audio of AEW Dynamite. In fact, I don't even think it was over top. I think for a little bit, it replaced the audio of Dynamite. So Dasha's about to wrap up her interview, and you can't hear anything. I think, like, Lee Johnson was saying stuff at the end. You couldn't hear nothing. And, dude, like, you're literally just hearing an NBA game. You're hearing, like, defense, and it was going on for, like, 5 or 6 minutes, dude. I'm like, you guys gotta pull your shit together, man. Like, before it was, the whole broadcast cut out, and now it's like this. Like, what is up at TNT, man? It's kind of annoying. Like, get your shit together. So the match starts, and the NBA audio is still going into. I was extremely distracted just because my mind was blown. I was like, I swear on AEW, I've seen so many weird broadcast things I've never seen anywhere else. I've never seen this happen on a WWE broadcast or, anywhere else. I've never seen a sports game glitch out this way. Like, I don't know if it's AEW or if it's TNT, but somebody's got to stop this stuff from happening. Actually, even a little more happened. So the audio was happening over the match, and so they went to picture-in-picture, and the commercial break was going for, like, a few minutes, not even, maybe like 2 minutes, and then just mid-commercial, just back to the show. Just snaps back. It's not like it even did the transition, from picture-in-picture back to the show. It just cut right back. So I think they had some real broadcast issues. When they came back, the audio issue was solved, so... but yeah, anyway, so we'll get back to the match. So ringside, Ethan landed like a twisting backbreaker from a draping DDT position. Pretty cool, unique offense. I never seen anything like that. Lee's able to land a blue thunder bomb for a near fall. Lee got Ethan up top, attempts a superplex, but Ethan Page throws him off, lands a springboard cutter for a near fall. Lee Johnson landed pretty bad at one point and hurt his knee. So he's like selling his knee, and then Ethan just comes up to him and kicks his head off. Ethan Page lands his Ego's Edge finish for the win. And it's like, I just feel weird referring as two people as Page on the show now. Like, ugh. I was low key, like, I kind of knew Ethan Page was going to show up on Sunday. I was like, I hope he changes his name. Because, like, Adam Page is the OG, man. I can't let this other page get over, you know, but whatever. So post match, there's an attack by Ethan Page. QT Marshall doesn't seem to give a crap. So Dustin came out for the save, and Dustin's like looking at QT, and then QT just splits. So clearly he's having some real issues as a part of the Nightmare family. So we'll see what happens. So Alex is back to interview Adam Page about his big money win on Sunday. Adam says he got like a bunch of whiskey, gave away a bunch of his money to a charity. I think he said something about he like bought a bunch of vinyl records. He did say he bought vinyl. I don't know if it was referring to like records or what. He was just naming stuff he bought. And he bought a brand new lawnmower, which actually he was on top of that lawnmower throughout this promo. Dark Order come in for the celebration, and they all agree to get ice cream. And so they all, like 6 people on this one lawnmower, they all drive off on the lawnmower except for 5. 5 was left behind. And that's a little bit of like a BTE inside joke, like 5 is kind of the loser of the Dark Order or whatever. So next up, we see Tony Schiavone is at the stage about to introduce us to Christian Cage. But some music comes on, and all of a sudden, we don't see any Christian. We just see Kenny Omega's cleaner ladies come out. And so Kenny Omega's music comes on, and he comes out with Callis and the Good Brothers. So Kenny Omega's here to spoil Christian Cage's debut. And they actually just took over this whole segment, in fact. So Callis apologizes since we won't get to hear from the brand new AEW signee. Says to Christian that Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers call the shots around here. They're going to take this time for themselves. Says he stands with the god of pro wrestling. Says he's now the king of the death match after this Sunday since he won the match. Callis says everything went according to plan on Sunday, I guess. Kenny says that, not quite everything went according to plan. And Callis is like, are you talking about the sparkler routine? Callis says that he and Kenny have taken a lot of heat from the company and the fans. Says that they'll neither confirm or deny involvement with the explosion dud. But it made them so happy to take away what we wanted. Says they made history when Kenny beat Moxley. They took away Moxley's big moment to die as a hero. I don't think Moxley necessarily wanted to die there. They took away Eddie Kingston's heroic moment. Callis says that if the explosion happened, they win. Since Moxley and Eddie would have been dead, or basically that's what he said, would have been vaporized, and Kenny would still be champion. Without the explosion, they still win, since Moxley and Kingston look like idiots. Which is just basically true. Like, you know, you can't really escape the fact that Eddie Kingston was selling the explosion. Although I did hear like a really good defense for him that his face was down the entire time. Like after the explosion, his face was down the whole time. So maybe he didn't actually see that it was a dud to defend Eddie Kingston. Because that's what we're all wondering. Like, why did he keep selling it? That's the only real escape that he has for that. So Kenny says he gets goosebumps thinking of what it would have been like vaporizing Jon Moxley. But he had the pleasure of beating him and embarrassing him and Eddie, which is Jon Moxley's childhood best friend. Says that Eddie was dry humping Jon while sparklers were going off. And says that we'll never forget about it. And so Eddie Kingston finally comes out. Callis says that he had Eddie in Impact because he saw the talent, the toughness, the scar maker in him. Says that Callis ended up having to fire him because he did the same thing in Impact that he'd been doing his whole life. When he's about to get the brass ring, when he's just about to win, he finds a way to screw it up. Just like at Revolution when he laid there and we all laughed. The crowd starts cheering for Eddie. So clearly the crowd at least forgives Eddie for the whole thing. It's all good. Callis says that Eddie is outdone. Outnumbered because, again, the ring is filled with Kenny and the Good Brothers and Callis. Gives Eddie a chance to leave in one piece. Gives him a 10-second count before the heels kick his ass. So a countdown actually starts, like similar to before the explosion. Dude, this was weird. So Kenny lays down, and like Don Callis goes on top of Kenny in a 69 position. I'm not even joking. And they're like mocking the whole spot from Sunday. That was weird. I don't know if I needed that. Kenny says he got flashbacks from being in detention in high school or some shit like that. I don't know. Like, that is what he said. I guess that's what the explosion reminded him of. Kenny threatens to kick Eddie's ass with his friends. Kenny offers Eddie to take a free shot, so Eddie just stands there for a bit thinking about it. Nah, fuck it, goes for the cheap shot. Good Brothers run wild on him though, start beating his ass, but out comes Moxley. And another countdown begins, but this time we see the same thing, the same countdown from when Christian Cage came out on Sunday, so we see outwork everyone, sorry. You see the outwork everyone graphic on the screen. Out comes Christian Cage, and everybody left the ring except for Kenny Omega, who's still dead from Eddie Kingston's punch in the middle of the ring. Kenny finally gets up. He and Christian Cage face off. Kenny offers a handshake. Christian rejects it. Kenny goes for an attack. Christian gets the upper hand and positions Kenny for the unprettier or kill switch, whatever you want to call it. Callis assists the escape. So they all run off. But the thing is, Kenny left his title in the middle of the ring. So Christian Cage is like, hey, why not? He's staring at the title, picks it up, looks at the title. And I'm like, dude, you better have some matches before you challenge for that title. I do not want to see this guy just go straight to the championship at all. So I would like to see this guy have some matches, build up a win-loss record. This guy's not the caliber to just go straight for the title. If it was Brock Lesnar, if it was CM Punk, or any of those guys, alright, maybe. But Christian Cage, I'm sorry, bro. You have to have some matches before this title before this title shot. He does not deserve. And dude, and the crowd was yelling, "You deserve it." I'm like, get the fuck out of here. He's had, what was it, one match at the Royal Rumble in the last 10 years or whatever. Didn't he, I think he had like a gimmick match in WWE recently where he got no offense in. It's like, what do you mean you deserve it? I haven't seen anything from this guy in like almost a decade. Come on, give me a break. Need fans with better sense. Don't give these guys such an easy time. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Maki Ito, and Nyla Rose versus Thunder Rosa, Hikaru Shida, and Ryo Mizunami. This match got my pop for the whole night. So basically the heels, Dr. Britt Baker and Nyla Rose did their entrances, and then Maki Ito's about to do her entrance, and it's the whole concert thing. But during the concert thing, I guess the baby faces came out of the crowd, and they start running wild on Dr. Britt Baker and Nyla Rose, and Maki Ito just keeps performing, like, does her entire song while everybody's fighting. It was hilarious. Like, I would watch this whole episode just for that. It was so funny, man. So Hikaru Shida's like, this chick needs to stop singing, and goes up to her, but Ito starts, like, beating on Hikaru Shida's head with the microphone. The bell hadn't actually rung yet. I was wondering, like, why isn't this a disqualification? But the bell hadn't rung by this point. I guess because Ito never entered the ring, right? So, match officially begins, and Ryo Mizunami gets in and unleashes her corner chops to Maki Ito. Proceeds with her, like, rope miming spot. Ito's able to land her Kokeshi, which is the, like, headbutt thing, the falling headbutt thing that she likes to do. Landed it on Thunder Rosa for a 2 count. Mizunami hit Nyla Rose. There's 2 Roses. There's a Rosa and a Rose, so I gotta make sure I'm talking about the right person. Mizunami hit Rose with a big spear. Shida lands a snap suplex to Mizunami onto Britt Baker, who is parched in the corner, so suplex Mizunami onto her. Thunder Rosa does a tornado dive onto all the participants ringside. Maki Ito lands a swinging DDT to Thunder Rosa for a near fall. The ref is distracted. Rebel has her crutch. Rosa avoids danger and spikes Ito with her piledriver finish for the win. And we got a post-match attack by Britt Baker to Rosa again, so I guess this feud is continuing. With Reba's crutch, she was beating up Thunder Rosa. Baker locks in her lockjaw on Rosa, and Vicky Guerrero's attacking Thunder Rosa while she's locked in this hold. Reba is scraping Rosa's head with the crutch. So they're just killing Rosa, and in fact, I hope I didn't hear this wrong, but I think they're going to pay this off next week in a lights out match. I think they're main eventing. I hope I'm not wrong, but I do believe that's the main event for next week. Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker in a lights out, unsanctioned match. I am excited for that. That's going to be great. And it's the first. It took, like almost 2 years or whatever, like a year and a half or so. And we're finally getting the first women's main event in Dynamite history. That'll be great, though. I think it'll be a fantastic match. So next we see Matt with Private Party. Matt says he needs to bring more money and says that... Well, it's kind of weird. Like, I don't know. At this time, he says that he needs to bring more money and says that Adam Page stole from him. And then he says he's been keeping like stacks of money around forever, so I have money everywhere. So that's why I'm confused, because he just said he needs to bring more money in, and then 2 seconds later he's like, "Don't worry, I've been stashing money, hiding it around for as long as I can remember." And so I'm like, all right, I guess he does have money. It says that he has more than enough to keep his business running. Matt teases new members to the Matt Hardy brand, and out come Butcher, Blade, and the Bunny. Seems like they're always looking for a gig. Like, weren't they Eddie Kingston's boys? And now I guess they're Matt Hardy's boys. There will be a match involving these guys on Dark Elevation. The first of which... Is it next week? Next week, Monday, is the 15th. Might be the week after. I can't remember. Is it on Monday? Pretty sure it's on Monday. But anyway, this will unfold on the first episode of Dark Elevation. Again, this will feature Paul White on commentary. And then we have our main event match, not necessarily the main event segment of the show, but the last match on the show, Scorpio Sky versus Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. This comes off as Scorpio Sky's win in the Face of the Revolution ladder match this past Sunday. So match begins, and Scorpio and Darby start the match with a fist bump. Guys are working holds for the first bit of the match, which of course isn't so usual with Darby's offense. Darby leaped over the rope at one point, landed on his leg awkwardly, and so throughout the match he was selling a leg injury. Scorpio punches Darby right in the face after the first commercial break. Darby comes back with his over-the-top, like, stunner move. That's a near fall. Darby lands a Code Red, which is just a destroyer for a near fall. Scorpio kicks Darby's head off at one point, picks him up for 2 German suplexes. Darby's trying to escape the third, but Scorpio, like, headbutts him and snaps him with another German suplex into the corner. Darby went for a tope. Scorpio counters into a cutter, throws Darby back in the ring for a near fall. And that was a picture-perfect counter. Darby just, like, you know how he sprints and bullets himself out of the ring for a tope, but Scorpio was quick enough to just catch him right into a perfect cutter. That was a great counter. Scorpio was able to land a brainbuster after getting him back into the ring for a near fall. Scorpio gets Darby up to the top rope. Darby's able to knock him down and attempts a coffin drop, but Scorpio reverses his coffin drop into a power bomb, which is just very impressive because Scorpio's back was turned and Darby was jumping from behind him and he caught him and powerbombed him. And again, it just looked great. Picked him up for his TKO finish, but Darby's able to roll him up for the win. And then, I saw it coming. Darby's trying to help out Scorpio Sky post-match. Scorpio's not having it, knocks him down, and takes him out with locks in a heel hook. And Darby Allin was tapping out. Dude, I didn't think I would see that, but Scorpio locked in the heel hook. Darby's trying to escape tapping. Officials eventually forced the break. And at first, for like 2 seconds, Scorpio was like, oh my god. So he looked like he was feeling great remorse. But after just seconds, a big old smile breaks out on his face. And the announcers mentioned that he left through the heels tunnel. So looks like we got an official heel turn here for Scorpio Sky. Good for him. I also do want to see this program continue. I think seeing him and Darby Allin wrestle is great. I think this match was fantastic. So next week we have a special edition of Dynamite called the St. Patrick's Day Slam. So it's not going to be like a big, huge semi pay-per-view kind of thing, but they are calling it St. Patrick's Day Slam. We'll be seeing Moxley team with Kingston to wrestle the Good Brothers. We will get Cody versus Penta. Butcher, Blade, Private Party, and Matt Hardy versus Bear Country, and I didn't actually get the other team. I guess it might be Dark Order. Is it? Feel bad, but yeah, I don't actually remember who the other babyface team is. We'll hear from Jade Cargill for the first time since the Shaq match, and Britt Baker versus Rosa. Again, when they're talking about the next week matches, they go boom, boom, boom. That's why, I miss some names sometimes. But I swear, I'm pretty sure I heard that it's going to be a lights out match. And if I heard correctly again, I'm very excited. And then this leads us to the main event of the evening, which is the Inner Circle War Council. So out come Inner Circle. Jericho says that when any great army needs to change course in battle, they have a war council. Inner Circle has been on a decline over the last months, but it'll be easily remedied since they're the smartest in the business. Jericho says it could be time to introduce a new member. MJF stops him. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Says, with all due respect, there might not be any need for new members. On the contrary, in fact, we might need to let someone go. Somebody's music comes on. Who is it other than Sammy Guevara? So we have the return of Sammy since he left Inner Circle. And didn't want to do what Impact told him to do. And the crowd went pretty crazy for this. So Jericho says, look who's here. Says he never wanted to hear his name again. Sammy acknowledges Chris is not happy with him and says, I have to show you something. Jericho says he's got a lot of guts for coming out. Sammy begs for Chris's attention for what he needs to show him. So a video comes on screen. We see Sammy is setting up, I guess, his vlog camera or whatever. And they kind of time-lapse until the point we need to see here. So MJF walks in to... and the camera is in Inner Circle's locker room. So MJF walks in at one point and says, boys, tonight's the night. It's time for new leadership in Inner Circle, and said that we're going to get Jericho out or something like that. So Jericho's devastated and turns to MJF, and MJF says, didn't want you to have to find out this way, man. Tell Santana and Ortiz to get him. So Santana and Ortiz are slowly approaching Jericho with, I don't know if they had weapons or what, but threateningly approaching him. But then all of them turn to MJF. And so MJF falls into the corner, or not even actually. Jericho tells him that he's a stupid son of a bitch and to shut up because MJF is begging for his life. Jericho asks if he doesn't think they talk to each other every day. Since he's the one who brought this guy into the Inner Circle, he'll be the one to kick him out. And then he shoves him, and MJF falls into the corner, and he's begging for his life. Jericho says on behalf of the Inner Circle, his ass is fired. Jericho says someone's about to get an old school Inner Circle beat down. MJF pleads he did not want to take over the Inner Circle. I did not want to take over Inner Circle, I'm so sorry. But then he says, because I was too busy building my own. And so the lights go out, lights come back on, FTR, Tully, Wardlow, and Sean Spears are in the ring. Dax bashes Jake Hager with a bottle in the head. The heels go after the baby faces. Sean Spears kicks Sammy's head off into a corner chair. MJF is just sitting on the top rope, just watching all this chaos ensue. The heels are handcuffing a couple of the baby faces, trapping them. Wardlow takes Jericho up top, and it looked like he was about to do a huge slam move or something. I blinked and the move was done. I was like, wait, what just happened? I think he put him on the top rope, pulled him down, by his head and kneed him in the head or something like that, which is still pretty devastating. But I was expecting like this big old move, but it was just this like really quick thing. FTR pick up Santana and Ortiz for an assisted pile driver with Tully. Wardlow picks Jericho back up for MJF to start punching. But MJF puts on the Dynamite Diamond Ring and busts Jericho open. And he starts like crawling for his bat, but the heels ain't gonna have it. Tully picks up the bat and hands it to MJF, who proceeds to beat Jericho with the bat. FTR and Spears carry Jericho to the edge of the stage, hand him over to Wardlow, who powerbombs him off the stage through a table. And Jericho is a bloody mess in the wreckage. So there you have it, man. The Inner Circle is officially imploded. In fact, is it even a thing anymore? I don't know. I have no idea. Is FTR, Spears, and MJF, is that the Inner Circle now? Or is Jericho, Sammy, and Santana Ortiz the Inner Circle? We're gonna have to fight for the rights over the new name here, but yeah, that was, like I just said, that was a super explosive end to this stable. We'll see how this goes. I guess it's pretty fitting for MJF to team up with FTR, being that FTR is kind of that old school vibe kind of team, and MJF is just an old school heel. So I think it's pretty cool, and this is giving Shawn Spears something to do. He got the cool spot where he kicked Sammy's head through a chair. And yeah, so next week's another big week. We'll have the St. Patrick's Day Slam, I think it was called, and we will be seeing the Lights Out women's main event. Again, I'll just give a quick disclaimer. Maybe I heard that wrong, but I really hope not, because that would be awesome. And again, I think this is a great show. I think, for the most part, other than Don Callis and Kenny Omega 69 each other, I think they did as good of a job as they could have at, like, kind of sweeping everything under the rug with the whole dud from this past Sunday. But yeah, we can move on with our lives here, and we'll be back next Wednesday. As always, thank you very much for choosing me for your coverage for AEW Dynamite. We'll be back next week on the Pierce the Canvas podcast. This is Pierce, signing out. Take care, y'all.